anything and everything that is actually being put forward by experts like us from the alternative medicine or Ayurveda out here will be seen with a lot of speculation. I know it sounds very archaic, the terminology is Vata Pitta Kapha, but what it entails is much more deeper. For somebody who has experienced the benefits of detox or out here, Panchakarma, would know how beneficial it is. Let me tell you something. Just because something is easily available does not mean that it does not work. In that case, how is turmeric helping with respect to inflammation? See, the information that you get in the social media is to be very consciously consumed. Please do not get misled that easily. Hi all. So today, let us try to understand what all the confusion and sarcasm was regarding the fatty liver post that I had created. Let's try to break it down one by one. So doctor, what led to the confusion regarding the fatty liver post? Misinterpretation, I would say. To be more precise, the core content was misinterpreted, reframed as per convenience and the limited knowledge horizon the author had, which led to more confusion. As a practicing medical professional and influencer, why do you feel it is important to address this confusion? Well, initially I thought of not investing my time and energy into it, but later on I got to realize that there are a lot of people who are looking up to us as subject experts. Now, if I allow that confusion to hang around out there, anything and everything that is actually being put forward by experts like us from the alternative medicine or Ayurveda out here will be seen with a lot of speculation. So unless and until we subject experts come and talk and clear the fog, the general public is forever we're going to be confused. Why is the doctor addressing you as a Vaidya and not a doctor? Good question. I don't think there is anything more than his frail ego being satisfied out there. Doctor, another confusion is Ayurveda a professional course like allopathy? In India, it is a 4.5 years course, both BMS as well as MBBS, plus 1 year internship. And it is very much a government approved course. So technically speaking, the only difference is in with respect to the syllabus. In modern medicine, you have everything modern to be studied. In Ayurveda, you have got everything Ayurveda plus the modern anatomy and physiology to be learned. It is very much a government approved 5.5 year medical graduation course. How do Ayurveda and modern medicine differ in their approach in understanding the diseases? I would say it is like two sides of a coin or two sides of your own palm. It's the same palm, but the perspective or the view that you're having is extremely opposite. Another best example that I would like to give you is that of this four blindfolded men trying to touch and feel a large object. One says it's a pillar, the other one says it's a wall, then the third one says it's hair. But then a passerby comes and tells them that it is none of this, but a huge elephant. This is exactly the difference between Ayurveda and allopathy. When allopathy or modern science as it is being said today, nowadays, it has a reductionistic approach as in it goes deeper and deeper at the microscopic level into the body. The advantage is that you get to see which microbe is giving you what trouble and things like that. Whereas Ayurveda is about, again, understanding the human body at deeper level, or I should say the subatomic and energy levels. That is where the Vata Pitta Kapha actually comes. That plus the holistic purview. Now, the advantage of two different perspectives is that when you try to understand individually or when you try to understand it deeper, you can actually crack it down to a certain level. Nowadays, you get to see a lot of conditions wherein people are saying that they're taking repeated antibiotics for the same infection, but it is again and again coming back. So what exactly is going on out here? You know which bacteria it is. You're being given the specific antibiotics, but still your body is unable to fight the infection or get rid of the microbe. Then in that case, what you need to do is like understand the whole body and its energy status. In Ayurveda, you call it ojas. So if your ojas or immunity, in other words, is depleted, then you need to really work on rebuilding this immunity. Plus, along with that, you need to give the antimicrobial medicine or herb. Then in that case, you will get the desired result. And this is exactly what Ayurveda has been doing whenever you get repeated infections or Jirna Jwara as it is called. So doctor, what exactly is Vata Pitta Kapha? I know it sounds very archaic, the terminology is Vata Pitta Kapha, but what it entails is much more deeper. In simplest terms, as a scientific person, as a modern person, if you want to understand, I would like to say it is three forms of energy. One is adding up, which is the anabolic or the kapha. The other one is cutting down, which is vata. And the third one, which is a transformative phase, which is pitta. Or in other words, if you want to understand it in detail, if you have a scholarly mindset wherein you want to understand it beyond the language, I would like to say, take the human body, try to understand the anatomy, physiology, pathology, emotional aspect, cognitive aspect of this human body in three different buckets. So you have the first bucket wherein you know that a person's body is lean, skin is dry, hair is dry, too much of thirst, or there is constipation, or there is anxiety prone, then in that case, this kind of symptoms or this kind of a personality can be put under the Vata bucket. Then you have the second bucket wherein the person is very competitive, moderate build, has a great appetite. Given a chance, he can be prone to acidity, acne, abscess, diarrhea. Then you put him in the second bucket, which is the Pitta bucket. And then you have the third kind of category where there is the person who is very happy-go-lucky, obese, stout, sluggish metabolism, can sleep through the day, still be unaffected. Then in that case, you belong to the third category, which is a Kapha kind. Now, this can be in terms of your signs, symptoms, healthy body, which is a physiology, as well as in terms of your body type. This is what Vata, Pitta, Kapha is. It is not just a symptom, but it is also something that helps you understand which category you belong to. It's more like the umbrella classification of entire human race into three categories. This is what Vata, Pitta, Kapha is. So, doctor, what exactly is fatty liver and why does it occur? Fatty liver, as you may know, it is nothing but buildup of fat over the liver cells. Why does it happen? As per modern science, it can happen as a comorbidity of few other metabolic disorders like diabetes, hypertension, obesity, hypothyroidism, etc. Whereas when you understand Ayurvedically, it goes much more deeper. It's more like which came in first? Is it metabolic disorder or obesity that came first, or the fatty liver? More like a hen and egg situation. Whenever there is a disease, it does not happen from the thin air. It always happens either because of your choice of food, lifestyle, the climate that you're living in, the stresses, your sleep cycle, and your genetic predisposition. Okay. So, in case if you are into excessive eating, sedentary lifestyle, plus you have genetic predisposition, then in that case, you will be prone to fatty liver. Now, if you are prone to, or if genetically you are prone to diabetes, then in that case, that is what you get. In commonality, when understood Ayurvedically, what exactly is going wrong? Either your Agni, it is not just mere digestion, it is much more than that. Okay. Agni is that which helps in breakdown of food at the level of stomach and breakdown of energy and conversion to next level tissues at the level of tissues. Okay. There are different kinds of Agni. To begin with, at the level of your gut, it is the one responsible for the breakdown of food into energy and waste. Now, when the breakdown does not happen efficiently, then there is formation of a pro-inflammatory byproduct called ama, which is very similar to inflammation. Or because of the choice of food, there is excess formation of kapha imbalance, that which leads to sluggishness, lethargy, weight gain, etc. Okay, that is called kapha imbalance. Both of these or either of these, depending on the genetic predisposition, can either give you diabetes or hypothyroidism, cholesterol, which is raised cholesterol or dyslipidemia, or it can give you fatty liver. So it's not just about all the three or four being present at the same time, but rather understanding what happened at the first place plus your genetic predisposition. And this is how it happens. In that case, as per Ayurveda, what are the specific foods that can lead to fatty liver? Before I tell you the specific food, let me tell you the qualities of food so that it is much more easier for you to understand and relatable. Any food that is madhura, which is sweet, snigdha, which is anxious, guru, heavy, shita, cold in nature, and which is capable of giving you ama. It can be because of inflammatory food combinations, or it can be because of Vishtambi, which is heating and inflammatory. All of these can lead to fatty liver. To be more precise, foods that are creamy, cheesy, greasy, heavy, you have your processed food, junk food, fried food, paired with sedentary lifestyle, reduced movement, reduced exercise, late sleep, binge eating in the nights, all of these can lead to fatty liver. If you have to ask me, even the Carbonated beverages which contain sugars in it can also lead to, because it is Madhura Rasa. Though it is not heavy, it is still very sweet. This sweetness is the one actually which leads to kapha imbalance.
Is there a drug available for fatty liver?
Well, as of March 2024, there is a drug being approved by FDA. It's called resmetirom. But it also comes with a host of side effects as commonly found for most of the allopathy drugs, like you have nausea, vomiting, dizziness, constipation, abdominal cramps, etc. If you're okay to wait, by the time the medicine reaches India, you can start using it. So in case if you do not want to wait, then the best way out would be go meet a holistic Ayurvedic doctor. Try to understand the causative factor, why you have been getting it. Is it the sedentary lifestyle, food habits, stressors, sleep pattern? Try to understand the Nidana causative factor, reverse it, fix it, get yourself cured. You do not have to wait for one drug to reach our land to get rid of this simple metabolic disorder.
Doctor, is detox really a scam?
Well, it will sound like a scam for somebody who does not know anything about it. But for somebody who has experienced the benefits of detox, or out here, Panchakarma, would know how beneficial it is. Say, for example, if you have been having a long-standing inflammation, kapha imbalance, or autoimmune conditions, then in that case, a good cleanse, a Panchakarma cleanse in the form of induced vomiting, induced purgation, would actually get relieved of 80% of your condition. Rest 20 will be treated with the help of Rasayana herbs or the treatments that are done after the Panchakarma. Let me tell you in the modern terminologies. Isn't the liver capable of detoxing? Isn't kidney capable of detoxing? Then how come just because one science says that these organs are capable of detoxing, then how come when the other science, which has been also treating a lot of conditions, says that detox or Panchakarma cleanse is actually possible, does not become valid? Just because it has not been proven through modern researches, does it mean that it does not exist? Well, you really need to experience if you do not know about it, or at least read and try to understand.
You had mentioned in the reel that buttermilk is good for fatty liver, but it got bashed. What is your take on that?
The point that was mentioned in the reel was buttermilk is the best remedy for fatty liver. But the point for which it got bashed was that it is easily available, but still people are getting fatty liver. Let me tell you something. Just because something is easily available does not mean that it does not work. In that case, how is turmeric helping with respect to inflammation? It is even being acknowledged by the modern researchers nowadays. How is ginger being considered as the best anti-inflammatory herb? See, that is also being researched nowadays. So just because buttermilk has not been researched and is not yet in the papers does not mean that it is not effective. What you need to do is go beyond the periphery and try to understand what makes one say that. Is there any reality to it? If there are currently no research reports, then what could be the point of view behind it? What Ayurveda says is takra or buttermilk, which is the well diluted buttermilk and that has been blended with digestive carminative herbs, is very light. It is easy to digest. It promotes digestion and just slightly heating in nature. And these are the exact properties that you need when you really need to break down that excess fat or kapha as mentioned Ayurvedically. And that is how it becomes the best remedy for fatty liver.
You said fatty liver is a lifestyle disorder. In that case, what are the factors that one should consider in order to fix it?
When it comes to lifestyle, there are three main factors that you need to consider. One is the sleep wake up routine. Second one, exercise. Third, time of food. So coming to the first one, sleep wake up routine, you need to have a schedule. You can't sleep at midnight or late night and then wake up at 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning and think that your body is going to function well. Well, it is not, because we have something called circadian rhythm. We live in tune with the sun and moon cycle. Therefore, if you do not go to bed before 9:30 or 10 p.m., then in that case, your cortisol rises, thyroid hormones go for a toss, estrogen goes for a toss, liver functioning gets hampered, you get midnight appetite, you end up binge eating. All of these happens. So to prevent that, have a good sleeping and waking up routine. So sleep early, wake up early, and ideally try not to sleep beyond 6 a.m. because 6 to 9 is something called Kafakala or the sluggish period of the day. During that period, one should not be sleeping. You should ideally exercise. Now coming to exercise, as per the modern researchers, it says that you need to work out for 150 minutes per week. But here, it lacks two specifications. Should you be working out the 150 minutes within one day itself? And can all body types work out just for 150 minutes? Here the problem is that not everybody can work out for X number of minutes in a given week. The reason is very simple. Every single person has different levels of energy. So if you are one of those who has very low levels of energy, start with 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then slowly pick up the pace. But if you're a person who has got good amounts of energy, if you're eating well, sleeping well, and has good amount of energy, then in that case, you can easily work out for 45 to 60 minutes in the morning. In fact, that is a right time for you to work out, because then your entire system, including your gut health, gets kick-started, and therefore the metabolism will be better. So work out in the morning, work out as per your body type. A Kapha person is going to need more exertional workout when in comparison to a Pitta or a Vata type. And a Vata type is actually going to need more calming and grounding exercises like yoga to get their system kick-started, because overexertion in their case will kill their gut health. So the exercise should be as per their body type and do it in the morning. On top of that, there's one more factor that you need to take into consideration, which is Divasapna or daytime nap. This is best to be avoided because that itself can give you inflammation or kapha imbalance. Except for if you are above 70 years, less than 7 years of age, are singing for long hours, sitting and studying for long hours, are pregnant, or it is summer season. Now in extreme summer, there is going to be dehydration and there is going to be ojashaya, which is degeneration of energy. Then in that case, again, you can take a midday nap. Otherwise, you should be avoiding midday nap because that itself can lead to fatty liver, sluggishness, or kapha imbalance.
Can Ayurveda and modern medicine complement each other?
I would say yes, provided both the parties can work together with zero ego and absolute understanding. Because only then you would know what each one of them are capable of doing. Say, for example, you have a case of third degree burn. Then the Ayurveda person or the Ayurveda doctor should be able to understand that if I can reduce the pitta or the inflammation or the heat in the person's body, then in that case, the rate of healing increases. The modern person should be able to understand that what kind of treatment can I do for the burns in such a way that it heals faster. So if both the parties know what each one of them are going to do, then in that case, you can work in tandem together. But if there is ego in place, then in that case, both the parties are actually going to do extra treatment or treatment that is going to encroach into each other's zone, thereby leading to ojakshaya, or the person's immunity or the innate energy gets reduced, which further reduces the rate of healing. So what we need to understand is doing just enough is very important if both the parties are to work together.
What would be your one piece of advice for your followers?
See, the information that you get in the social media is to be very consciously consumed. Please do not get misled that easily. If something really makes sense to you, try to understand it deeper by reading more over it. If something really does not make sense to you, again try to understand why did the person actually come up with the same. Is it confusing? Then leave it then and there. The best example being, nowadays people tend to believe only what they can see with their eyes. Now my question to you is very simple. What is the difference between a live body and a dead body? The only difference is presence and absence of soul.